Yes, you're welcome again to my YouTube channel. This is Brian, I make inspirational videos, and today we are going to read the gospel, a gospel from the book of Daniel, chapter 6, from verse 1 to 28. And I would like us to listen carefully. I'm going to read the verses, then after I will share with you the points to ponder, all the questions. Only you check yourself how you are going with God. So today's gospel is it talks about how Daniel was humiliated by his fellow workers. So when we read verse 1, so it says, "It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, with 3 administrators over them, one of whom was Daniel. The satraps were made accountable to them so that the king might not suffer loss. Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. At this time, the administrators and the satraps tried to find grounds for charges against Daniel and his conduct of government affairs, but they were unable to do so. They could find no corruption in him, because he was trustworthy and neither corrupt nor negligent. Finally, these men said, 'We will never find any basis for charges against this man Daniel unless it has something to do with the law of his God.' So the administrators and the satraps went as a group to the king and said, 'O King Darius, live forever.' The royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors have all agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce the decree that everyone who prays to any god or man during the next 30 days, except to you, O king, shall be thrown into the lion's den. Now, O king, issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered in accordance with the laws of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed.' So King Darius put the decree in writing. Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room, where the windows opened towards Jerusalem. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So they went to the king and spoke to him about his royal decree. 'Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days anyone who prays to any god or man except to you, O king, would be thrown into the lion's den?' The king answered, 'The decree stands in accordance with the laws of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed.' Then they said to the king, 'Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah pays no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. When the king heard this, he was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. Then the men went as a group to the king and said to him, "Remember, O king, that according to the laws of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." So the king gave that order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve, continually rescue you." A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and with the rings of his nobles, so that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night without eating and without any entertainment being brought to him, and he could not sleep. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions?" Daniel answered, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king." The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. At the king's command, the men who had falsely accused Daniel were brought in and thrown into the lion's den along with their wives and children. And before they reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones. Then King Darius wrote to all the people, nations, and men of every language throughout the kingdom, throughout the land, "May you prosper greatly. I issued a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heaven and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions." So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Hallelujah. I hope you have heard the gospel. So here we have, you see, Daniel trusted the Lord, and the Lord managed to rescue him from the lion's den. The same applies to you. The same applies to me. If we trust the Lord, he rescues us from all the challenges we passed through. Because Daniel trusted, he had the law that they put, but that law did not stop him from praying his God. So let us trust in the Lord always, knowing that whatever circumstance we are passing through, he will be able to rescue us. So here are questions to ponder. Question number 1 says, how did God save Daniel from lions? Another question: what was the reason Daniel gave for God's decision to save him? So another question we have to ask ourselves: as sinners, how do we become innocent in the sight of God? Then another one says, when we are attacked for our faith and when our relationship with God is tested, what do we need to do? Another question: what lessons can you learn from the story of Daniel? You see, Daniel is a story of Daniel is a story of a person being faithful to God. More importantly, the life of Daniel recorded in the Old Testament gives evidence of God's faithfulness. So God knew Daniel. He knew Daniel's needs and what Daniel was struggling with, and it is clear that God cared for Daniel. So what can we learn from Daniel in the lion's den? In this case, Daniel was supposed to be the lunch for lions, but God had plans. So the lessons we learn from this, one of the most important lessons we learn from this gospel of Daniel, is to keep our mouths shut and trust in God in every day, in every way and every day, every situation we are passing through. God is there to lead us. God is there to rescue us, because if Daniel had not trusted in the God, he was going to be the lion's lunch for that day. Even those who persecute God's people. You see, the king did not sleep, spent the entire night thinking how Daniel is. And in the morning, he's the one who went there to ask how Daniel is. We are called to preach the gospel and serve the Lord, the living God. Let us keep trusting Him and we will fight our battles. This gospel of Daniel tells us that God is always there to fight for us. He's always there to fight our battles. He is the living God, the Lord who will never change. He's always with us. So here is the other question. Why do you think the other governors and wise men hated Daniel? So another question here says, how does a person living righteously threaten those that are evil? Another one says, how should a person in a relationship with Jesus distinguish a Christian from non-Christian, and how should this difference affect the workplace? We have heard the gospel, and we can also get all the answers from that gospel. Get time, read through the gospel. How does establishing a reputation of being faithful and having an excellent work ethic bring glory to the Lord? There is another question here. Why was it that the enemies of Daniel decided to attack his faith? Another question here says, as our world grows more wicked, why is living righteously considered wrong, and how should we conduct ourselves as Christians in spite of this? Another one says, why do you think that there are always going to be attacks coming against the person that is following Jesus? When you read Psalm 22 verse 13, and First Peter chapter 5 verse 8. It can guide you get an answer. Another question says, why is prayer so important and how do we become powerful warriors? And another one says, how did the threat of being eaten by lions affect Daniel's decision to honor God by spending time in prayer? And here another one says, why is it so important to decide in advance, regardless of consequences, to honor God with your actions? So another one here says, what work must the Lord have been doing in Daniel's life when he proclaims that God whom Daniel serves continually will deliver Daniel from the mouth of the lions? Another one here says, how did God save Daniel from the lions? What was the reason Daniel gave for the God's decision to save him? The last question here it says, as sinners, how do we become innocent in the sight of God? Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and remember to comment, like and share. Please listen, you will go back and read the gospel of Christ. Check through those questions and it may help you grow stronger in faith with your God. Thank you very much, and please don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.